Hi, my name is Bob Carroll. I'm the Executive Vice President at Permanent Solutions Labor Consultants, and I'm your host for Employee Relations Words of Wisdom. I got some breaking news here. Uh, it says CEOs from Detroit's biggest companies take joint stand against racism. This was released 49 minutes ago as I'm recording this video. And what's ironic is I was thinking something very similar last night as I was going to bed. We have a lot of focus on police brutality and injustice for African Americans. Well, I take it further. I think there's injustice towards the minorities in general. And I believe strongly in what's going on with the peaceful outcry and demonstrations from the African American community. And what I find is really powerful is you have people from different races joining them in their fight. I think that is closing the divide between the races, and I think it's an amazing thing. That's my personal belief, and I think a lot of people obviously are sharing that belief. But I wanted to focus on the business aspect of it because that's what we do. And then this popped up this morning, and I had to get on here and I had to talk about it. And to give you an idea of how big this is a big call to action because Mary Barra from General Motors, Bill Ford, the executive chairman from Ford Motor Company, Mark Stewart from Fiat Chrysler, Jay Farner from Quicken Loans, Wright Lassiter from Henry Ford Health System, Chris Illich from Illich Holdings, Dan Loeb from Blue Cross Blue Shield, Gary Anderson from DTE Energy, and Gary Torgau from TCF Financial are meeting today with Mike Duggan, the NAACP, and members from religious organizations to discuss what business can do to take a stand against racism. And I was thinking the same thing last night, and bam, it happened here in Detroit. I'm very proud of what our city is doing. Our city is our state. I mean, we had a sheriff made national headlines when he marched peacefully with protesters, not rioters and looters. These were protesters that were taking a stand. And now he is known throughout the country, if not the world, for what he did. And now here in Detroit, we have some pretty big companies joining in on the cause. And I think that, and I was going to sleep last night, because I've done a lot of consulting with Permanent Solutions, and our company has been in different areas of the country where we have seen up close and personal employee relations breakdowns, and we have seen some blatant injustices towards African Americans, towards other races, towards different sexes. It happens, and I am somebody who was very, very excited to get up on a stage at Michigan HR Day here in Lansing, which was unfortunately canceled due to COVID-19, to talk about implicit bias or unconscious biases. And part of the plan was to admit that I, at one time, was part of the problem. At one time, I did the exact same thing many, many, many people do. I made the statements that I'm not racist. I believe that I was doing okay because I associated with people of color, but I started studying implicit bias long ago, started studying unconscious bias long ago, and realized that I've judged many, many people based on the color of their skin, based on the way they look, the way they dress, the way that their belief systems are, and because it didn't agree with me. And until I started really digging in and really, really digging in and started to have conversations real, legitimate, deep conversations with people about their cultures, about what they've been through, and listened. It wasn't me doing the talking, it was me listening. I started to become engrossed in what they've been through and started to truly understand what implicit bias is and what unconscious bias is. And the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be a black person, you could be a white person, uh, you can be a man, a woman, transgender. It doesn't matter. Whatever you are as a human being, you have also had implied bias, implicit bias, unconscious bias happen within yourself. We all have it. And I really hope, I really, really hope that comes up in this meeting with all these company leaders, the mayor of Detroit, and the religious leaders, and the NAACP. I really, really do hope that comes to play, because that's a big part of moving this change forward. There has to be reform, and we have to admit our faults. And if that happens, it is going to be a giant move forward. Now, these are huge companies. And my point yesterday, what I was thinking that's a little bit different, is it's not just the huge companies. It's the small companies, the medium-sized companies, the large companies, and the giant companies. Because when it comes down to it, we're dealing with human behavior. And if we can learn to admit that there is a problem and admit that we all have our own personal faults, and do what I did and listen to the other person's perspective with open ears and not take a blind eye and listen with deaf ears, we can move things forward. And I just thought it was just amazing that literally I walked down into my basement, started to set up my equipment to record this. And as soon as I started setting it up, I got a notification on my phone that they're having this meeting. So this is an opportunity. And I hope everybody that sees this takes this opportunity to look at your company, look at your employees, look at how people are treated differently, and make effective change. Is it going to be easy? It is not. What's happening around us this past week has been an eye-opener to a lot of people. I said it when COVID-19 first hit. I made a comment, and I don't remember who I was talking to. It might have even been on one of these videos. But I said, God is telling us to hit a reset button on humanity. And now we have an opportunity to do it. So I'm going to leave you with that. Hopefully what I said makes sense to you. Hopefully businesses around Detroit, Michigan, the United States, and the world will see that they have an opportunity to press a reset button on humanity and make the workplaces better for people of any color, any religion, whatever they are, because they're human beings. And hopefully we can advance our civilization in a peaceful way, in a way that makes sense. So I'm going to leave that with you right now, and leave some comments below, because I really want to see this work. I do. I want to see police brutality go away. I want to see people treated equally. I want people to open up their eyes on their own imperfections. I want people to listen to other people's plights, and I want to see the world improve. As a company, we want the exact same thing, because when it comes to what we specialize in, which is employee relations, union avoidance, making workplaces better, I want to see change. So with that said, I'm going to drop it right here, and I'll see you next week on Employee Relations Words of Wisdom.